So, Akarsh, thank you for the film. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you
I
for showing
hope,
this.
yeah, I hope you guys like the film. And so, maybe let's begin with, what's your background and how did you end up as a filmmaker? And also the origin of this film. How did that came about and how did you develop it?
So I'm an engineer. So studied engineering. While we were studying engineering, we started making short films. So we did a bunch of short films, like 20, 25 short films. And during my engineering, I was like fixed that I'm not going to take up a job. I'll just do films and that. So I started like volunteering for festivals, like Griffiths. I was working in projection, so I watched a lot of foreign films in projection. So and there I met few people. So from there I realized that I have to be in films. So that is how from after engineering I never worked, been in films for like past 6 years full time. And the origin of this is we were frustrated before making this. We were frustrated of not finding producers, not finding anything. So we had a friend who was working in IT who said, I have this much amount of money, you can do whatever you want. So we thought, okay, let's go back, let's write something. So this we wrote it in 3 months. We wanted, and a lot of stories in this film are actually true stories that have happened in the industry we have heard of. So we took that, we made it. One thing we had in mind is we want to make something that will make people laugh. So that is something we were very sure of. And from frustration was this film was born out of. And we shot it for 17 days, one location. And to make a film in less budget, we wanted a sensibility, or we wanted to take a form which would allow us to make it in that budget. And that is when one day we were watching Breathless, and the jump cuts came from that. So why don't we do it in jump cuts? So if you see, there is only one angle for one scene, so there isn't any other angle. So that is how this film was born. And yeah.
And what was the writing like? Did you write the whole thing or was it like scenarios and...
So we had a screenplay, but we did not have one single dialogue on this. Everything is improvised by actors. So we had a 30-pager screenplay. We had actually 140 scenes, and we had 20 days to shoot. So we average shot like 20 scenes a day. So 20 scenes a day. So we were like starting at 9 o'clock. We used to finish at 5 a.m. next morning, and then again start at 9 o'clock. So, and the way we improvise dialogues is, if this is the camera, if the actors are acting, since it is a dubbed film, it is not sing song. So we were behind the camera. We were used to say, okay, this is, let's keep that and add this, and that is how it happened. And a lot of the backstage was about people just enjoying. There was never this thing of we were making a film. So we kept it very light. And all the actors are the actors who have worked in our short films before. So we had a wavelength with the actors. And it was like we took 3 months to write this. In terms of what way we need to go. We also had an alternate ending, which we went with this. So we wrote for 3 months. So it is directed by me and another person called Rohit, who's not here. We both, along with Ashit, who plays the writer in the film, is also the actual writer.
Yes.
So we three of them like jammed in our office, wrote it.
And like, how does this improvisation work? Like, is there a limit or can they do anything? And what point, do you tell them to, let's say, stop and we're going in a wrong direction?
So one thing what we did is we rehearsed all the scenes on camera. We logged it, staged it for 15 days. So all the actors have done the scenes once before in a different location. So once we were on the set, we had to tweak only minor things. They knew what is the vibe we need from the scene, how it should start, how it should end, what is the main substance. Apart from that, they could do anything. So most of the funny moments came from that. So the person who plays Funny, the production manager, he improvised a lot. So most of it came from him. Yeah.
Can you maybe tell us a bit more about PK? Because I feel like, even though whatever I've seen from far, I feel like I've seen this guy in Kannada industry or wherever to some extent, right? Yeah. So how did that happen? Was there like someone maybe who inspired it or whatever?
So there is a running joke that my co-director thinks it is me and I think it is him. So So it started off like that because we were making very pretentious short films before. Like we wanted to probably do like a Kieslowski film, do like something without even understanding what it is. So when we were frustrated, we introspected that this is why we are not being able to get a movie. So we thought, why not make a parody out of art? And then when we were writing this, a lot of people, lot of cast members told us that there is actually a filmmaker in the industry who's like this. I had an experience who's like this, and everything came to this. So PK, even now, like after this film, I worked on a film where I felt exact same scenario happening in my life. So which is the director was the same. He was demanding out of nowhere. He wanted something.
Yeah.
And and even like there are stories of Kubrick demanding something, the Kannada filmmaker Puttana Kanaga demanding something. So and incident, this is very coincidental. So we named him PK because the actor's name is Pranav, and then we named the film Sharapanjara, and then somebody pointed out that Puttana Kanaga made Sharapanjara.
Yeah.
So it was very coincidental.
Where did the title come from? Why is it?
So we were looking for title for a long time.
Okay.
So Project Sharapanjara, like Sharapanjara means a cage. So we were all like that. Like everyone, she thinks she's a method actor. He thinks he's a very good film. They're all like in a cage. And it also had a nice ring to it, and it referenced a previous film. And there's also a dialogue where he says, does he think he's like Puttana Kanaga? So we thought it would be a nice thing. So some people also said, is it Pawan Kumar? We're like, no, there's no reference to that. So
yeah, but the difference is, for example, everyone around him has this perception that he's sort of a genius or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And everyone puts up with whatever he does. But when you look at him, let's say speaking to the producer, when someone asks him, what is this film? He can't articulate, he can't say anything. Even when he's directing, he can't really do that. So,
like I feel a lot of times one film becomes a hit. We try to make the director like godly figure. So we met few directors who we were fan of, and suddenly the perception changed. So probably we were just fans of the film, not the filmmakers. But since they have done that, we try to take everything they do for granted. Like, this is probably there is some meaning to it. So that is why they made a film 7 years ago. So he's trying to make a film again.
Yeah.
And that is a very existential crisis. Even today, like we made this 2020. When we are trying to make another film, now we feel like we should not end up like him. So it is sort of very meta like that. But it is a very, like sometimes we made a short film first. It worked. The next time you're trying to emulate the same thing. But it cannot happen. But if it is a hit, people try to take it for granted. Like, okay, fine, let's do this.
Yeah.
So,
can you talk a bit more about shooting? Like, how did you, even though it's just one frame, and how did that happen? How did you decide?
So, we were very clear of the editing pattern before. The edit will be like this. So many jokes, if you see, it is just based on edit. Like, it finishes one sentence, before finishing, we cut it and we start with another thing. So, Rohit, who is my co-director, he edited the film. So, our first cut was 4.5 hours. Yeah. So, this is 1 hour 52. So, our first cut was 4.5 hours. We still like that cut more. But while shooting it, one thing the cinematographer also, he's shot a mainstream Kannada picture before called Daredevil. So he wanted just one thing. Can I experiment on this? We were like, yeah, you can. So we have explored every corner of that house. There is no corner that we left in that house. And while shooting, we were like, let us just go with the flow. Let us just get the vibe. And then on the editing table, we'll see how to construct this. So most of it has happened on the editing table. We just knew the way the story used to progress. So while shooting, there was a lot of freedom. The last climax, the 234 takes, was actually a single take by the shot. So it is a 60-minute single take handheld, 60-minute single take handheld, which we did. And in the background, we used to keep telling them, now do this, now you have to puke, now you do this. So my cinematographer was like gone by the end of it. So it was like that. It was quite mad.
Speaking of Daredevil Mustafa, at the end of the film, it's the Daredevil Mustafa Shank and that team moves into the house. It's almost like beginning of the same circle again. But it does allude to an ending. Throughout the film, we've seen them for 7 years or whatever this is not the first day of their life. They've done this 10 times before,
Yeah.
but you do give them an ending and they sort of move on. How do you see the ending?
So we had an alternate ending, which is where PK is sobered down. He has a bound script now. He's waiting at a production office, but nobody cares about it. We thought we want to keep PK delusional. We don't want him to go like sober down. So that is why even after the post credit, he's still shooting another film.
Yeah.
He's still as delusional as he is. So it is just an episode in their lives. They don't change a lot. Nothing happens. So yeah. And even the previous film they made, Bangalore Film is a translation of my short film, which is called Hunters in Bangalore.
Okay.
The poster which you have used is Srikanth had done a music video.
Okay.
So that music video is posted. It's all referenced with that. So yeah, I think sometimes you're delusional for a long time. Like that never breaks. So we did not wanted to give them an arc as such. So this is what I still believe that not every film should have an arc. Not every character should have an arc. So we stuck to that. And at the end of the day, these are people who are okay with the toxicity of each other, and only they can handle it. So, like Funny could have left him anytime, but he doesn't leave him. The method actor, she could have left the set anytime, but she doesn't, because somewhere they validate each other for some reason.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I mean, speaking of delusion, I mean, you need certain kind of delusion probably to be a filmmaker and want to be a filmmaker, right? Yeah. So, I mean, they have this delusion throughout the film. Like at the beginning, there's like, they think about winning an Oscar.
Yeah.
And as soon as he finishes the film, he says this will go to Cannes, Berlin or whatever, right? So how do you as a filmmaker, keep some delusion like that and stay grounded to some extent also?
I think it is difficult. This film reminds me to stay grounded. That we have made this, let us not be like a version of that. But it is very difficult, I think, because once a film is popular or the film, you tend to buy into that image that you are that kind of filmmaker. So that is very hard to come out of until you surround yourself with people who are really brutal. Sometimes you don't get to know it. So it is very difficult. I know filmmakers who are kind of in a delusion like that. But you can't help. I think it is very subjective. But yeah, I have seen, I worked on a film like a couple of years back. On the set, we were knowing that this scene is not going well. But the filmmaker after that is like, yeah, I'm going to send it to Oscars. So it's like this is still there. People still say there is a running joke that, okay, if Oscar doesn't select us, probably we are above Oscars. So the division doesn't stop. So yeah, that is there.
And also for like a small indie film, animation is not really, part of, you don't think about doing an animation, but you have first 10 minutes in animation. How did that come about?
So we wanted to show their backstory, not just keep it in dialogue. So we couldn't shoot that anyway. So the cheapest option, if you see, is animation.
Okay.
But
is it the cheapest option?
Depends the kind of people you find.
Okay.
So this his name is KU, who did animation. He was a student in MIT Pune. So he was a first year student. So we knew him. So he was ready to do it for us. Even the sound designer, his first card of it. So he could get us done Foley, everything in Bombay. I don't think our budget would have gotten us to do that. So we got it in a very cheap price. But finding people like this probably helped us. So even the cinematographer, even the technicians, actors, like most of them have gone on to make features after this. So, but yeah, probably we left out.
I mean, can you maybe talk about like the release of a film? How difficult is it to show people the film? And now that you've done a second film which has gotten like a release, so like
it is very difficult. Not getting the release, just to get yourself prepared for the release. So for my second film, when we are releasing, it was stressful because the distribution is so rigged. I mean, it is very. There is a conversation right now. The filmmaker has to evolve. Times are changing. They have to adapt to the what is it? The seconds, like 5 seconds to do something. One of the editors I met, he suggested me for my second feature that every 4 seconds there has to be a cut.
Oh wow.
He insisted on that. Like, why? Because the retention time is very less. But filmmakers has to evolve, they will evolve, but the distribution has not evolved. The exhibition sector has not evolved. They have the same number of theaters, same price, same show timings for all kinds of things. So when my second film came out, Dhanush film also came out. So we had the same ticket pricing for the same kind of timing shows and same seating capacity for the same center. It will not work out. So our films works only after word of mouth. For us to build word of mouth, we need 2 weeks, at least a weekend. So they are not ready to give it because they expect us to have the footfall of the film or like a Sharapanjara. That is not possible. So unless distribution evolves, I don't think films like we try to release this for like 2 years. Like everyone in the industry has seen it. Rakshit has seen it. Rishabh has seen it. Everyone has loved it. Panama people have loved it. They're like, but it just doesn't make sense to release this. So like even after getting people to like your film, it is difficult. Because there are no stars, it can conventions. For the first 20 minutes, nothing happens. So somebody asked us to make it like 70 minutes. So yeah, it is very difficult. One of the production houses for my second film, they saw my film and they're like, if you're ready to cut 50 minutes out of this, I can get you a prime deal. Like it is not a favor, it is almost like a threaten sort of a thing. Like we don't need it. So yeah, it is very difficult.
I mean, 15 minutes is, half the movie is gone.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense.
Because they are of a certain age, they relate to a certain character, and basically other characters are not related. But when it comes out, probably other people can relate to it. They don't see that part. So yeah.
Now, after knowing this, like for your next film or for your second film, do you think about these things when you're directing, writing? Does that matter?
Even if I try not to think about it, it invariably comes. I was talking to a director who released his film in August. He did not think about writing for 8 months because he's like, if I start writing now, all these thoughts will come to me. So I'll not write for 8 months. So that is one approach. But when you go to a producer, they'll ask, let's do this, let's do something. So you have to balance it. We couldn't go as crazy as Sharapanjara in family drama, but we somehow retained the process. But now in the next film, if I get a star, I don't know if I can retain the process also. So that is also difficult. So it's difficult. So we actually screened this in Bangalore for 15 times, 15 weekends, which was pay as you like. People can come in if they like it, they can pay. And then we had one screening in Hyderabad, which was a ticketed screening. From those screenings, we have partially recovered into this thing. So we still want to release it, but I don't know. They're like nothing is happening. They want a strong hook or like a plot point that will like immediately start. Yeah, like the act one. So there was nothing happening because we wanted people to get used to the style.
Okay,
nothing is happening. So the jump cuts and everything, if I just directly jump into a main scene, if I have jump cuts there, probably they are not used to it. So the first party scene where they're just chilling and everything, it is jump cuts for you to get used to what it is. From then on the story moves. But they wanted to remove that part. So we were unsure of, but also in the party scene you get to know these characters. So we did not want to lose that also. So, and they were like, if you remove that, if you make it even shorter, 1.5 hours, like, no, I think this is what we want. Like we had a plan, which, so there is a lot of this thing that films like this won't work in these centers, we wanted to take it there, have like a free screen, record the reaction, and then take it to distributor that it is working. Because if it works there, nobody can say it is not working back there. But we didn't have the funds to do that. So, yeah, for my next film, I'm doing that. So. It is more free flowing. You get to know these people more insights. Like for example, I don't know how many of you thought it. He will be watching Persona, Bergman's Persona. Ingmar Bergman's Persona. Yeah. He will be watching that and recreate that scene. And there is a scene from Paul Thomas Anderson's Master where he has to touch the walls of the corner. That is the plan scene. So these things are now just in a fleeting background. To know more about where are these people getting inspired from, all those things. And more of him and Maya's story is more in the 4.5 months. So,
Some background.
yeah, at one point she wants to do a painting, she wants frogs in a painting. So he goes to get frogs on the streets. So, yeah, those things are all chopped off. Yeah.
So, next question. Sorry, I'm just going.
Yeah, that's fine.
Are you planning to release this in other film festivals across India?
We think so, but I
Because I've
don't.
seen like not many films,
Yeah.
and half the films are really shit.
Okay.
So rather see this kind of film in a full festival, in a Jaipur festival, in a Delhi festival.
Yeah.
It will in fact like work festival.
Yeah, but I don't know. Unfortunately, I don't. This is my experience with the festivals. At least in the Bangalore Film Festival, they term this as a very commercial. They don't term this as a festival sort of a film. So
And also, I mean, whatever you were saying about distribution, the same sort of decision makers, the same sort of people exist in festival
Yeah.
scene as well, right? And like they either show old films or films that was made this year.
Yeah.
Like 2022, if you make a film in 2022, that sort of becomes, you know, you can't do that in this year's festival. So, like all of it feels like has a very short period of time which you can cash in on. And if you can't do it at a certain period, and it's like almost it's over. It's no, all of them. No, most film festivals they want the films that was made in the previous calendar year. So unless if you know program it and package something, and if it's part of that, you can't do it.
Now we feel like one distributor is saying this film isn't that mainstream, but film distributors are saying this is. So you manage to find a line between both.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, that's what I'm very
You
confused.
managed to dissatisfy both of them.
Technically, if we censor this now, it will be a 2025.
Yeah.
So they just take it back. But film festival also has the thing that they want to come across as very contemporary. So if there is something that is happening in the culture today, they want to represent the films that is speaking about the culture.
Right.
So unfortunately, this will appeal to mostly people who like films, filmmaking, and all this. Apart more than that, I don't think this will appeal to a larger, like a film festival programming this thing.
Yeah.
So that is one of the reasons. Because in India there are many festivals that just celebrate indie spirit. Just the way you made it. I think Dharamshala is one festival that does that. Apart from that, there isn't much.
So I really like the jump cuts because I didn't get the breathless inspiration because I thought okay it was very interesting for a Kannada film because it's not just a forward jump cut, right? Like there is this backward jump cut also randomly, which was very interesting, and to see a very self-aware Kannada film, it was nice because it is so rare, and I haven't watched family drama. I'll go and check it out.
It's on Prime.
Yeah, I know. And you know, in the end when Shashank comes, because I know him I can recognize by face, and when he started coming and then the PRP was in the dustbin, right? So it was almost like okay, the film all of a sudden just got so dark, right? So and I was like, okay, a new cycle is going to begin because he has also made just one film 2 years ago, and he has just announced and not made it.
Oh, yeah.
Just adding one.
So he also featured on Daredevil Mustafa.
Yeah, yeah.
Madhu. So yeah.
No, I know Ashit and Sachin, like
oh,
I've met them.
yeah. And the other thing is, other thing we wanted to stress upon, even though they are making a bad film, their intentions are still want to make from their heart.
Yeah.
They want to make a good film. So we wanted to celebrate that also. In the end, in the 234th take, when they're doing it suddenly comes across as like they're all in the zone to make something special. It's just that it doesn't turn out to be special, but the intention is still there. And one of the inspirations for that was One Cut of the Dead. So One Cut of the Dead also speaks about this emotion. So that was also one of the reasons.
Yeah, like good film, bad film, at the end of the day, work is the same.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so we wanted to celebrate that because mostly you're just by how well your work has turned out to be. Your process or your intention sometimes doesn't matter. At that moment in their emotion, everyone was very true to what they're doing. So she is like, even though it's method acting, I just have to get this shot right. The production guy is like, the sun is getting down, I have to do something. The writer is like, let's do something. The DOP is like, even though he doesn't know what it is, he just sees Dutch angle. So he's like, I'll capture this very well. So
like there are very interesting lines in the film, right?
Yeah.
Or mid shot by shot. So
Yeah.
It's like very interesting.
Yeah.
Introduction itself was very like.
Yeah.
No, I think except Freddie and Freddie.
But yeah.
Except him, I think everyone are pretty think too much about.
Yeah.
He's the way I think.
Yeah.
He's very talented.
And she's calling herself like, oh, I'm from Mumbai.
Yeah.
So there is a shot where the method actor wants to study Maya, like how she is in real life. So she just observes her sleeping for like a good 5 minutes. She's just staring at her when she's sleeping. So these things got cut out. But yeah, there is a lot of people who still introduce like that. They're like, I don't want to do this commercial film. I want to take away. But there is no difference sometimes when you ask them what it is. And Funny was our audience center point.
Yeah.
So he's somebody who's attached to the audience.
Yeah, it sort of feels like he's sort of the moral center of the film.
Yeah.
Like everyone is like either this side or
Kind
that.
of says what we feel. Like, you're able to do.
Yeah.
So,
Like-
funny. He says what he feels.
Yeah, and sometimes when we are shooting it, we also don't realize when we're doing it how funny some of the lines the actor said or in that moment. So when we are editing it, one line is when he says, let's just do a lesbian film. His immediate reaction is, we will not get this in Kannada. So, so that is something we did not expect him to say. So we realized it is funny in the edit.
Okay.
So, and the whole thing of in the starting they're drinking, talking about Godfather, cancer was a good, and everything. And that is, trivia is, Ashit. So, that is the first time in his life he was actually drunk.
Okay.
So, he's never had alcohol before that scene. So,
And also this, you were saying about it's got dark, right? Like there are random lines in the film which almost feel like it's a dark thing because, I mean, now that you mention Ashit, he says, "Nan odogbudtini," and Funny says, "Odogbutta illi bandirodu." Like this is it. Like there is not going to be anything else. Either if we do this or not, and uri wapas hogo. So
Some things are very sad. Like it's been here for so many years.
and it's also that
Fathers
whole.
are calling, like, what have you done? Can't say anything.
Yeah.
Can't go back.
and they all party together. And the next morning when he's sleeping, he's like, you party literally last night.
Yeah.
So these things happen. And the other thing is like, that is half industry today, unfortunately. Wherever you go, you just talk about how to make films. But not many are actually making it. So that is, sometimes after family drama, I was scared to talk about the film because it is done, I have to move on. If I keep talking about it, it feels like I'm stuck. So that is, unfortunately, it is the case even today in the industry.
I mean, what is the difference between people who are only talking like me or someone who's made a film like you? What are you seeing? Why is it like that?
In terms of?
In terms of making it, like what? I mean, you said some people don't, right? Like, what is the reason? What do you?
I don't know.
Is it the industry or is it the person?
I think it is the people mostly. But this industry is also like if you have made something, once they start talking about it, you feel that will go on forever. They'll talk about this work forever.
Yeah.
So I don't need to make the next thing. Until and unless it hits you that it's been 2 years you have not made anything. And also we don't have writers here. So most of the directors who have come in the last 5 years are not writers, they are just directors. So after their film release, they have to wait for somebody to write it. Until somebody writes it, they don't have anything to do. They are just talking about the film, how good it, what happened. And there are no writers, the scripts are not coming. And the scripts are not coming, they are not making the next film, they are just talking about it. So it is very, very stressful.
If I may just add to that, I think in India in general and Karnataka, the idea of adaptations have died out. Like I think that is one of the reasons because like how much new stories can one person tell, right? Beyond a certain point, his experience is what he can talk about.
Yeah.
Beyond that, you need to rely on somebody else's writing or work, which you have completely given up.
Like now I'm meeting producers for my next film. They are expecting me to write a screenplay in 2 months. Like I wrote this in 2 months. I wrote family drama in 3-4 months. But now I've learned that I need more time because sometimes as you age also you need more time to write. So the stakes are also higher, the budgets are higher. But they don't want to give that time because they're like, just 2 months you can go write it.
The interest, finance.
Yeah, all those things. And sometimes what directors mostly do is they start the film in 2 months. They have the first half ready, they start it. Then they buy time to write the rest of the film. And I don't think it will work like that. The film completely changes after that. Actually, I shot a documentary of people who are trying to make a film, people who make the first film, about what is their mind space and what they think of the industry. We are not editing it yet, we are still editing it. There are a lot of insights. People who made the first film, they want to make something similar or up it. But when you're choosing something else, it doesn't really compare. You just go and make it. So they're stuck in that. So, yeah. So there are no production houses, that is the biggest thing. Even though I think of the story, sometimes since so before Sharapanjara, all my short films never crossed the budget of 5,000. Okay, so that is what. So when we were doing this also, we had single-digit lakhs for that budget for everything. Okay, and when for family drama, when I got a certain amount of budget, it felt luxury. But when I'm writing, I can't think of things happening in one room because I'm like trained like that. So once I want to change it, the budget immediately go up. So it is not thinking about the budget. If I just think outside the box, the budget naturally goes up. Most of the people from Sharapanjara are paid in family drama. So I couldn't pay them there. So I have paid them there. So that is also not enough. Not the mark where you pay me. So in the next film, I still at least want my crew cast to be paid with. So most budgets goes there. So yeah, something like this.
I mean, you tweeted yesterday about someone saying you need this amount of money to make a film in Kannada industry.
Yeah.
How much of you wanted to go ahead and do it anyway, right?
Yeah.
How much of this film was sort of like a response to we can try and do this and see?
The other thing with the budget was you're too young to make a film. That is another thing we got. You're too young. You still have time. Assist for 5 films and everything. But I don't know. I don't think assisting works anymore. If you make like 5 short films, it's as good as assisting 2 films. So this was a very angry response to that. Even in family drama, when I took the script to them, they are like, this cannot be done in this budget. But that is there for every film. Like when we made family drama, it is less than a crore. Like everything included, till the release and everything. When we had a DI happening in Kochi, when we went there, people from there thought it is a 2-3 crore film. So sometimes it also gives me some satisfaction to do something more in the limited budget, but it is sometimes angry. So most of it is an anger response. So, but you can't just shout at people. You can.
Yeah.
So once I write something, once I get the budget after writing, I rewrite the screenplay for the budget. So there should not be a place where audience feel like if it had a track shot, it would have worked better. So I'm not thinking of a track shot and then cancelling it. In my main shot making only, there are no track shots. I know that when I get the budget. So I construct the screenplay wherein even though I don't have a track shot, I can get the same feel, same vibe out of a still shot one. Like if you see family drama, you've shot it in FX3. But it feels anamorphic, it feels with the color grading we have done something. FX3 with, we went with, I forgot the lenses. But,
Was it G-Masters?
no, not G-Masters. We went with Sigma lenses, Sigma City Times. So with the way we, there is a lot of overexposure done purposefully because we can't control the outdoor light. So we make it like a style of the film. So we have very skin textures. We treat it in a way because we can't do the lighting like that. So we make it a style of the film. So, and I did not have budget to make it a theatrical experience. This is what people talk about. Like if you're releasing in theater, it has to feel theatrical experience. So I have 5 songs in an action sequence. So there's an action sequence, a song is there. That is how I make it like cinematic. So that doesn't require me to have a pattern or a music. If it is ingrained in the screenplay, I think it works like that.
How long did it take to shoot the film?
This film 17 days.
And how long was the post-production?
Post-production actually took a long time because when we were shooting, we did not realize. After that, when we told actors that it is going to be a dubbing, they all lost their minds because there is no lines to dub and everything. A funny character also is he was cursing himself while doing it. So the dubbing happened. Each actors took a week to dub their characters. So that is where, and Ashit, the writer guy, he was the only one who dubbed for a 3.5 hour cut also. So for a 3.5 hour cut, he dubbed. Rest of them just dubbed for a 2 hour cut. So, and music took some time, and then the COVID second wave hit. So we couldn't do dubbing for some time, and we don't do the post. And I think post took about 7-8 months.
Okay.
So shooting 17 days. We had a schedule of 20 days, but we finished it in 17 days.
Okay, wow.
So, yeah.
Like that.
So funny was initially we casted him for Sachin's role, who did the DOP.
He's actually inside.
Yeah.
But it's okay.
So then we thought Sachin will do this and Viresh Funny would do that. He's a very, he's from theatre, he's done a lot of theatre. He asks a lot of questions.
Funny.
Yeah. So other people are like, if he give an instruction, they'll go. But he challenged us. He was like every shot he used to ask. And the other thing is, there were 2 directors, me and Rohit. So we both had to be on the same page on every shot. So he used to sometimes trick us asking me something and then going and both of us are on the same page. So because most of these people we have seen, the producer character, I had a producer who produced my first shot, was from IT. So our reference was him. So every time you ask him something, he's like, I put it in my calendar. And everything is like a very like a IT way of doing it. So when he says you're the producer, it's like I inform my wife. So it is very like that. So once we told them this is what it is, they understood how it is. And Ashit, he was like that when we were shooting. It was how he is.
Yeah.
For Pranav, it was a very strange thing. For his costumes, our reference was this. I forget the name of the film. Cohen Brothers.
No, I do.
Big Lebowski.
Big Lebowski.
Yeah, that was a costume reference.
Yeah.
So, but he had to be very like stone cold. He doesn't emote anything. So, yeah, we had a different, and this method actor also we had met something. So we were like, okay, we'll make them like this. So most of these people we have seen around, and the last Appy scene. So the producer character who played Suraj, he was playing the junior in one of the films, where he was in the background and he had to eat sandwich, one bite of sandwich. The main lead actor fucked up the shot whole night, so he had to eat some 25 sandwiches.
Ooh.
So that is what we said when we were writing the film, and we were like, this is a great thing, so we'll do it with the Appy. So a lot of it came from them also. There was this character who did this and everything. And another thing, we couldn't censor it also because there are a lot of actual Kannada film references, Kannada film actor references, which people will ask us to cut it out. And there is one reference of Punit Rajkumar, which was shot before he passed away. Yeah. But and in those things, everybody was laughing on that line. But after he passed away, it became like a sudden lull in the screening. So we did not want it to change much. So that's why, yeah. But actors are casting, we got it right. So that is why this film looks like this.
When you were talking about the distribution, I had a question there. You said you had shown it to Rishabh, Rakshit, and all of them. What is the reason they gave for not?
Again, so
Like, did they give a reason as to why it won't work?
Yeah. Like for Rishabh, he saw this like 2-3 months before the release of Kantara. So he was like, only a visual spectacle films will only work in theaters right now. So otherwise, if visually it doesn't look great, I don't think nobody would prefer it. So that was the main reason which we got for this. and Hemant also saw it. Hemant also liked it. So same reasons again. No stars are there. On whom will market it, and what genres will be marketed. Like even for this trailer cut, would not look like wow. I need to go and watch this film in theaters because it is a film. After you watch the film, you like the film. I don't think you can condense it into like a trailer and give them like a this thing. So for all those reasons, they were like not possible. At one stage, Paramba did consider they were planning to do their own festival where they had like 7-8 films of theirs which was unreleased back then, like Nitya, all those films. They wanted to screen this along with that, but that event only got cancelled, so we didn't get a chance there also. So we still try to put it up on the YouTube channel at least, but there is no structure in the production of this. So yeah, and after Kantara, Rishabh was yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, also no, I always thought like at least when I was watching Kannada films as a kid
Yeah.
or whatever, like comedies and like films that have a lot of laughter always work. You don't
Correct.
really think
Yeah.
about anything else. Like this could be a proper family movie as well,
Yeah.
even though there's like drinking, swearing or whatever.
yeah.
But it could be that, but it's sort of bleak that that's no longer exists and there's no space for that.
Yeah, like nowadays, just out and out comedy movie, people hesitate to even release it. They want something else. So the reason we made family drama was also like we don't want to do anything that we are telling something important to people. We wanted to have people have a good, nice laughter in the screen. We just wanted to up from which Sharapanjara was left. But this is the feedback we got that there is no emotion in the film. Our whole idea was to not have an emotion. So I don't know. We can't really guess what people really like. And sometimes distribution also should help.
Yeah.
That is my thought process on it. If it's a comedy film, it is the
Yeah.
largest audience
Yeah.
for comedy film. But unfortunately, I think across industries it is not
Yeah.
quite.
Okay, with that, let's close for the day. Akash, thank you so much for
Thank
the
you so
film
much for
and
coming.
thank you for.